Yeah.
And you can really see this like epic dent I have on my nose right now because I actually don't remember if it's from James dropping a soundbar on my face or if it was from something else.
What?
But like I got hit in the face
How
kind
does
of
that
a
even
couple
happen?
times. Okay, so
Because don't soundbars usually get mounted low?
no. I mean, he was holding it and dropped it on my face.
Why?
Okay, so I will admit that this was at least partially my fault. And I'm not victim blaming, you know? I'm not,
Victim blaming yourself?
Well, I provoked him. You know,
I wore clothes that made it look like I wanted a soundbar.
I should have known that when he gets a sound bar in his hands, you know, I better steer clear. So I'm not saying that at all.
Okay.
I'm saying that it was actually a coordinated effort to capture a shot that
Okay.
I actually was at least
Of a soundbar falling through the air? Like what
well,
could
the
this
soundbar was
possibly
supposed to fall into my hands.
Okay.
So the idea was, because it was difficult with the framing of the shot for James to just, like, I mean, so imagine this. I'm sitting here hosting a video to you right now, and I want a soundbar to fall in my hands. He can't just stand right there, because then his butt's taking up the whole frame. So he's standing, like, kind of behind me and, like, off to the side, and it's kind of hard to hold this thing. And it's also hard for him to eyeball where exactly is down. Now, I think it was a team fail. Overkillington says, your nose is really big, huh? Yeah. So it's funny. I'm going to tell a different story now, because I remember having this conversation with my mother at one point when I was in high school. And I said something. Yeah, I took the picture this way, like from the front, because from the side you can tell I have a really big nose. And she goes, you don't have a big nose. And I go, yeah, I do. And she goes, no, that's not true. And I go, all right, watch. And she goes, wow, you've got a really big nose. I went, yes, I know, thank you. I told you I have a big nose. I don't need you to inform me I have a big nose. I'm well aware of the situation.
That's amazing.
Anyway, so back to the soundbar fail. So James is holding this soundbar above me, and it's kind of hard for him to line it up. In his defense, he also didn't do an amazing job. Okay, so the idea was I'm leaning forward, I'm talking about this other soundbar, and then I'm supposed to kind of lean back, and another soundbar is supposed to fall into my hands. Now, I also didn't lean back as far as I could have, because I was a little bit concerned about leaning out of the focus of the camera.
Okay. Yeah.
And like when you're trying to pull off like a coordinated shot, like, you know, when you do the like here Madrinas is one of our sponsors today. So here, like, take a Madrinas and then, like, you know, like, hit me with it. Boom. Like, when you're trying to pull off the no look, like, yeah, we got that. We didn't even look. Well, sometimes you don't look. And you get hit in the face with a soundbar.
So it hit you, like, on the nose.
So, yeah, so it came down like this.
So it was really close.
So, I did, well, it wasn't that close, because as I outlined before, and I had a conversation with my mother once about this, something could hit me in the nose and really not be that close to my face.
Okay, your nose isn't that big, dude.
It's big enough that I remember having...
It's not a small nose.
Okay. I remember having a conversation with my wife about this once, where I was saying, like, oh yeah, like my face is gross right now. I've got like these breakouts, and she's got far worse breakouts than I do, like as a general rule. No, like she doesn't. Her skin's not as good as mine. It just is what it is.
Most people don't say that about their spouse. But,
yeah, you know what? It's good to okay. Linus, relationship tips for a moment here. It's good to have a relationship where you can be honest with each other, because if you can't
but this
be
isn't
honest,
being honest with each other. This
left.
is being honest with like hundreds of thousands of people.
I'd tell her that to her face.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But you're also broadcasting it to the...
I guess so. I mean, but they have eyes. You know, it's not like she's never appeared on camera. Like, why do we deny reality? Reality is important.
Oh man.
So
yeah.
anyway, I was
yeah.
so I was complaining about it, and she's basically like, you know, cut your whining because your skin's overall pretty good. And I'm like, well, no, the thing that's so frustrating about it is that I can see it. And she goes, what do you mean? And I go, well, it's on my nose. And she goes, what, you can see your nose? I'm like, yes, my nose takes up a significant portion of my field of view.
Really?
Yeah, so I can see. Let's go with my right eye. Okay, with my right eye, I can see all the way to the very edge of that light. Okay?
Okay.
So where my nose sticks out, I can see about to the mic stand. So like, you know the effect where you hold your finger in front of you and you can see through both of the two images?
I have that too. Like, I think everyone can see their nose if they try to see.
No, because she's Chinese. So she has a flatter face.
So
like her eyes are more forward.
Tries, she can't see
and her nose is small. So
yeah.
Maybe a little, but
not as okay.
Not nearly to the same degree.
But so with both eyes open, if you're not thinking about it, you don't generally see your nose. Right?
No, but if there's a red mark, like right here,
it makes it a little.
Okay. It's really noticeable.
Okay.
It's like really noticeable.
Yeah.
People are like racist. No, physiology is not racist. It just is what it is. I don't make the rules. All right. Speaking of making the rules, let's go through some topics. What do we got today?
Intel 10 nanometer Ice Lake.
More delays?
Delayed till 2020.
Is Intel ever?
I don't know if this is more delays or a clarification on a previous delay.
I don't know if it's more delays on Ice Lake necessarily, but Intel has definitely delayed some stuff over the last couple of years.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I think this delay has already been like realized, and then we're being like, okay, this is the date that it's actually coming. We knew it was delayed.
Their stock dropped 7% today, I think. Oof. Meanwhile, AMD's picked up, I think, 17% yesterday.
Speaking of the next topic, AMD reports best quarterly profit in 7 years.
Which, to be clear, when your best quarterly profit, like, really only has to be like profitable. Yeah. You know, it's good though. It's good news. It's good news. There's a rumor. NVIDIA next-gen card details apparently leaking. So Jensen did go up on stage saying there's no new gaming graphics cards coming, but usually when the leaks start coming this hard and this heavy, that's an indication that what he said might have been a big fat, what's the word?
Lie?
That is not, no, I don't want to be disparaging. A big fat statement that wasn't entirely based on facts, given reality. That he's the CEO and he knows what's going on, presumably.
Yeah.
And have I allegedly? As
as
long as we're throwing in allegedly. I actually didn't realize that Stephen Colbert's been doing the allegedly thing like years before I started doing it.
Oh, really?
I thought that was our joke.
So did I.
Yeah, he does allegedly like all the time.
I don't have
which is fine.
HBO.
I'm actually okay with coming up with the same joke as Colbert and his writing staff because they're sort of professionals. So.
And they have a very large writing staff.
Yeah.
I think that's all we need to call out.
Yeah. Oh, let's roll the intro.
Boom.
Oh, where is it? Boom. Yeah. Get me some action.
There's not HBO. Whoops.
Yeah, no, he's CBS. That's okay. It seemed like an insignificant detail to correct some of those.
I don't have whatever it is that he's on.
It seemed kind of seemed like one of those you must be fun at parties kind of things.
Actually.
Actually, it's new plus Linux, or I've been calling, or whatever, new.
GNU.
You saw, GNU. You saw Wendell's bit,
actually, right? No, I actually haven't yet. It's open on my computer. What? I haven't been able to watch it yet.
Oh no, he pulls in.
I've been so busy.
We actually like scripted in a actually.
That's fantastic.
And he like explains the whole GNU plus Linux blah thing. It's pretty great. And the funny thing is like, there's gonna be Linux fanboys out there that are like, yeah, you tell them, Wendell. But those are the same kinds of people that proudly refer to themselves as PC Master Race, not realizing that whole thing was was supposed to be a jab at the people who feel that. Like that's the whole origin of it, was that it was like a oh man, the word's failing me.
Escape.
No, not sarcastic, not
I thought you were trying to say what the source was.
Not facetious. No, I'm just trying to figure out what the satire. Yeah, it was supposed to be a satirical thing. Like you were being made fun of. So anyone who was like, yeah, you tell him, Wendell, you were actually the butt of the joke. I mean, we actually talked about this while he was down here. Just like the biggest problem with Linux in a lot of ways is...
I love it. This is the second time that I have heard about you independently having a conversation with him that mirrors an exact conversation that I had with him separately without either. So he just happily went along with that happening twice.
So funny. Like the biggest problem is that when you love something so much, and that's what a lot of the Linux community does, they love Linux so much.
Definitely.
And to be clear, Linux is a good thing.
It's a good thing to love.
But when you love it so much that you can't see the flaws, then that's where you start to make it hard for other people to share your love.
Yeah.
Like he was installing something, and I was like, so no one's going to put me in charge of Linux because no one is strictly speaking in charge of Linux. No one's going to put me in charge. But if I was in charge, this whole nonsense where you go on like a GitHub page, copy a string of text, and then paste that into like a terminal prompt to install software, that's got to go. That's super got to go. Like, how is this? The year is 2018. The year is 2018. This is a graphical operating system.
For a lot of things, there are more mainstream alternatives to that.
Yeah.
There is like an App Store style thing on many of the distros. And you can install them because it's Linux if you're on a distro that doesn't natively have it.
I mean, even the whole thing with there being so many different distros. So if you're trying to, I mean, this is something that I was talking to one of the writers about in my office. We were reviewing a script and we were just chatting about how frustrating it is to have to deal with product names that are all either very similar or the same. So when you're trying to find information on like the MacBook, like I guess it was a 2015. So if you don't if you don't know to search for 2015 MacBook non-Air or like whatever or like as a search provider.
A lot of people don't.
Like if you're Google and you're trying to figure out what MacBook someone is looking for,
they do a pretty good job.
They do a pretty good job. Yeah. But if they're trying to find like a fix for a weird bug, or if they're trying to find something like a teardown or an upgrade guide or a replacement part or something stupid like that, how difficult that makes life. I mean, to the average person, and I feel like that's another thing that a lot of the very techie community loses track of. To the average person, there is no awareness whatsoever that Linux is anything other than Linux. They don't know Arch, Debian, CentOS. They don't know any of that stuff. It's just Linux. So if you were to try to search how to install a program in Linux, we should try it. Let's do it right now. How to install a program in Linux.
I'm going to assume that there's going to be like alternate stuff.
All right, here, let's hold on. Let's screen share. Let's have the experience together.
In bracket link.
Bracket mint. Beginner,
which is pretty good. A lot of people will be running that.
Let's give it a shot. Beginner Geek, how to install software on Linux. Works differently. Instead of visiting a website, you'll usually need to grab the software from your Linux distribution software repositories with its package manager. I'm already dead. If I'm an average user, I'm already like, okay, I'm done.
But realistically, that is saying like it's actually quite easy. You're going to use the like App Store kind of thing.
Yes. It's just like
it's called package manager, so people are automatically gone. That's where you lose them.
From install software from your distribution's repositories. I mean, the reality of it is like we live in this sort of this bubble where we just kind of go, well, people should just learn the lingo. But it's funny because whenever you try stepping outside of your usual comfort zone, which might be tech. And go to a hardware store and shop for a tool, or go to a makeup store and shop for makeup.
There's going to be the guys that know all the hardware stuff and are in this space, and there's going to be the people that know all the. I should have said people for both. I'm sorry. Don't be mad. The people.
2018, ladies and gentlemen.
Or honest mistake.
Sorry, I don't mean ladies and gentlemen. I mean everyone.
Current year thing. Oh right. Oh geez.
We're in trouble.
See, the problem is that we're just used to
old dogs.
It means nothing. Just
old dogs can't learn new tricks.
I tried to say like 5 words, and we've been here for a minute. I just can't even. I'm so sorry. Okay, the people that know both
Yes.
of those camps are going to jump into chat and be like, but I know both of
Right,
those.
but my point was to pick
Find one
something
that you don't
know.
Yeah.
You know, walk into a textiles store, like I don't know, Fabricana or something, and
Yeah.
what you'll find is that quickly it becomes
The like
overwhelming.
17 different words for plaid
Yeah.
because they're technically a little bit different.
And that kind of stuff is actually not that simple or necessarily good use of your time to learn when all you need that piece of fabric for is to make a makeshift tablecloth.
Yeah.
You know?
So you don't really care in that case.
So if all you really care about doing on your computer is reading your email, you actually will never care what a distribution repository is. And you will never care that you don't care. And you know what? That's actually fine.
Yeah.
Because everybody has different interests. You know, there are actually, I'm not going to get into like, you know, all the different words to describe wine because that would probably become a different conversation. But
look up $2 Chuck winning the blind wine taste test competition because that is a hilarious thing that happened. Have you heard about this whole story?
I think you've told me about it.
I
In fact,
love
I think
it.
you've told me on WAN's show, but
Probably
we can
more
we
than
can
once.
we can let people tell us whether they want to hear it again or not.
Yeah. It's
well,
great.
You know what? Do the TLDR. Do the TLDR.
So
'cause
the
it's really funny.
TLDR was there was a blind taste testing thing. I don't remember if the people doing it were people who were trying to become like wine reviewer people or if they were already wine reviewer people. And they had a whole bunch of different values of wines, and $2 Chuck is, you guessed it, a $2 bottle of wine. And it won the competition because wine is BS, basically.
Oh man.
In my opinion, and apparently the blind taste test seems to agree with me. But I have heard from some wine people that there's also examples of the other way. So I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, someone wants to know where to get my water bottle.
Because it's huge.
Amazon. It's actually not that big, but it's one of the vacuum
What
ones.
you need to do is just
So it's
write Linus Tech
insulated?
Tips on it in black, in all black, and then just sell them.
We totally should, except that by the time we marked these up, even like enough to cover receiving them, labeling them, and then shipping them back out the door, they'd be like $60 water bottles. I don't remember how much this one was. It's like $25 or something like that, 25 or 30, because it's vacuum sealed, it's big, it's got a nice wide mouth, it's stainless. Yeah, I'm very satisfied with this water bottle. Would happily endorse 10 out of 10.
Imagine this type of like print in black, like all around the
That
bottle.
would actually look pretty cool.
With like one little bit that just has like a safe zone around it. It says Linus Tech Tips in it.
Oh, we're working on some stuff. Have you seen the new concept for a new hoodie?
No, but that's exciting.
Yeah. It's okay.
Once we matter like a lot more, I want to get Floatplane hoodies.
So okay, it's not
Not now.
it's not like the WAN hoodie. Like it's not necessarily a tech hoodie,
That's fine.
but it's way more modern in terms of like the design. What? Well, who cares if it's not final? Oh, wow. Okay, so why are you whining about this, Nick? I'm talking to Nick up there. He can hear me because he's streaming. And B, why are you watching the WAN show at work? Okay? Do we watch podcasts while we're supposed to be working, Nick? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so I will respect his wishes at least until such time as he has provided me with a very compelling reason why I should listen to him.
DSRTFX, geez, man, your name, says, then instead of calling it a package manager, literally just call it the App Store or the Windows Store. It's the same thing. That's the point.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you start calling your App Store the App Store, Apple is going to be down your throat and up your butt at the same time with their entire legal team.
But, like, you could call it something that would make sense and would be fine, but they won't.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is that it
will probably hurt the Linux culture. Like, people won't like it.
And it actually takes a lot of branding. It takes a lot of actual marketing to get people to get comfortable with something. Like the number of times that people have to hear App Store to suddenly have that be like, oh, that's the friendly sounding version instead of, application marketplace or whatever. You have to
but
spend
you can
money on
shorten that. You can go app marketplace.
Like when Google changed
or app market.
When Google changed to Play Store.
Yeah.
What was it called? Android Market before? Android
something
Marketplace?
like that. That was a big deal when they changed it to Play Store.
And the stupid thing about it is here I am giving the tech community a hard time about not being accepting of friendlier ways of naming things and doing things, but I had the exact same reaction when Google called it the Play Store. I was like mad. I was like, what was wrong with the way they did it before? I don't play an app if it's not a game. That was seriously like almost word for word. That was what I said.
Okay, to be fair, I literally remember this because we were both really angry about it. And I think at that point in time, what we were angry about was that I think we thought it was like just for games, basically. Because it was actually kind of confusing when it first came out.
Right. So it had apps at the time.
Yeah.
The things that they didn't have yet was the deep collection of music and TV show content that now, in hindsight, almost makes it look like Google knew what they were doing with a branding thing. But I'm afraid to be too sure.
Afraid to give them that, yeah.
I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
App Storent. Oh, jeez.
Oh, people are giving us suggestions. The App Store with a 0. I know, right? The Hack Store, no.
Program Portal, no.
The Get App and Go. Okay, this is the problem with when you let software engineers name things.
Git Store. That doesn't help. That doesn't help at all. Atapa Git Store. No.
Oh man.
Apt Store. The APT Store is not gonna make it better.
The pseudo store.
No.
Yeah. Well, it would be sudo. So you're more in tune with the Linux community than me. It's super user do, but is it sudo or sudo? Do you pronounce it the way it's said?
A lot of people say sudo, but
But isn't that short for Sudafed? Like, isn't that a problem?
It doesn't matter with a lot of people. It is sudo, but a lot of people say sudo.
Sudo.
Like I say sudo, but it's sudo.
Okay, so this is similar to the GIF argument.
I think a little bit less so because that's just completely BS. And this one is like it actually makes sense. Like,
I don't know.
Don't say.
I don't know. I mean, this show right now has pretty good graphics right now.
That's what I mean. Like, you don't say it that way. That's so dumb. That makes no sense at all. But it is actually super user do. So that makes sense. Okay. It's just kind of nicer to say sudo.
We've got people who says, I don't know. I can't read that. It's pronounced hef. Sure. Yeah, it's got we should just go with if. It's got a silent G. I mean, we'll follow the same rules that like modern parents.
Traffic store. That's what they should, yeah.
Modern parents, right? Because it's just like, no, my son's name is Steve and it's got like a silent J in it or whatever. And you're just like, Steve already had a perfect. I'm sure I'm offending someone right now, but
the E is like a delta symbol.
Steve already had a perfectly good spelling that everyone fully understood and was familiar with. Like, you did not have to reinvent the wheel. It's not one of those names like Linus, where no one knows how to spell it, in spite of the fact that it is 100% perfect phonetically. It's just spelled. People
spell that wrong?
I have literally had my name spelled in front of me while I'm watching, and I don't correct it because I don't care. Lioness. And I'm just like, is that a thing that makes any sense?
Lioness?
Lioness.
Oh, wait, an I?
Like a lion.
Oh.
Lioness.
I didn't hear the I. I thought it was Linus.
In their defense.
I like Linus.
I've had Linis, which could somewhat be justified. I've had Linas, Linus.
Linus, okay.
Yeah.
Linas, wow.
But,
nice.
I forget where I was going.
Jeez. Some people, I worry with my first name sometimes. When I was younger, it happened a lot more often. It doesn't happen very often now. I bet you if I was in Quebec or something, it would happen all the time.
Oh,
but
LUC.
People would spell LUC, yeah.
Because your last name is French,
I totally get it.
I might guess LUC.
If anyone spells it LUC, it's not their fault even remotely. I would expect more people to do it that way because of my last name. It just doesn't happen that often.
Line ass tech tips. It's like the dirty tech tips.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tech. Should we do a topic?
I guess. I mean, we're kind of at the sponsor spot
Are
section.
we?
Yeah.
You know what? Should we just go full C0 copyright K tease here? And do you like that? You like that sponsor friendly monetization enabled way of doing that? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's just go full tease and not do a topic yet. So we've got a lot of sponsors for you guys today. Great sponsors, the greatest sponsors.
Yeah.
First up, we got Madrinas Coffee. Okay, these guys always have crazy deals during WAN show. So
Yes.
so wait but be ready. Madrinas Coffee. Coffee for fuel. Big cans of cold brew coffee with a flavor for everyone, from sweet and creamy flavors like mocha or caramel to bold and roasty flavors like cold brew black and dark roast. They're delicious specialty grade blends of cold brewed coffee brought to you in convenient, ready to drink 16-ounce cans. And from now until August 3rd, you can get 50% off. Yes, my friends, you can pay for only 3 of these 6 cans. 50% off your Madrinas Coffee order with discount code Linus. And the first 50 people to use code Linus will get a free 6-pack of cold brew if you're in the US, or a free bag of micro roast. Go for the 6-pack of cold brew.
But the micro roast can be international.
Oh, cool. Oh, so that's for the US and that's for international.
Yeah.
Awesome. So go to madrinascoffee.com/Linus for the full details. By the way, PSA for what are they called? Sorry, I was reading Savage Jerky while I was thinking Madrinas coffee. No, that's not coffee. PSA, their shipping rates have been dramatically reduced to most countries, including Germany, Canada, the UK, and most of the EU. Somehow, in this tariff-full world, they have managed to reduce their rates internationally. So
did you make that up? Or
tariff-full, yeah.
Yeah. Did you make that up?
Yeah, it makes me just kind of terrible when I think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I made that. I'm sure someone said it.
I thought you were going for terrible.
Oh no. I didn't have an intent.
I thought that was actually like quite good.
Oh,
but, you know,
it's unintentional.
whatever works. Yeah.
Savage Jerky. Where's my maple? Cool. Okay. Colton and I are gonna have
Someone's in trouble.
Colton and I are gonna have to have a chat after the WAN show today. Because, oh crap, I didn't have the Madrinas thing up. There you go. 50% off Madrinas Coffee. You get the point. Savage Jerky. Okay, so we have a problem here. My maple buffalo bacon is not here. There's nothing with maple or bacon. So that's fine. You know what? I'm actually going to do the sweet. I don't think I've tried the sweet sriracha. Oh, there is bacon. Okay. Well, you get original.
Sure.
So there's a sweet sriracha barbecue and a sriracha bacon. I don't think I've tried this one. So Savage Jerky is made with the best ingredients without nitrates or preservatives. Their goal was to create a snack that's both full of flavor and not bad for you. They've got 13 different flavors of jerky. Oh, my mouth's watering. Including the sriracha bacon, maple buffalo bacon. Oh, the maple buffalo bacon. Not everyone likes the maple buffalo bacon. Like, I shouldn't endorse it too hard. Like, order flavors that sound good to you, because I've given it to other people. They weren't that into it, but they've liked other stuff. But I love it. And traditional. They make barbecue sauce, hot sauce, and a spice rub. They're a Carolina Reaper hot sauce. It uses one of the hottest peppers in the world, the Carolina Reaper pepper. And you can use offer code LTT to save 10% on all of their products.
Yeah, my favorite one is the mojo jalapeno.
That one's actually not bad. It's not, yeah, it's not
one?
like super sweet. It's not like honey sweet like the maple buffalo, or not honey, I guess it's maple blue. Like the maple bacon, but
okay, yeah,
that one's not bad actually. And Corsair, you can check out Corsair's Strafe MK2 mechanical keyboard, which was an update from their previous fan favorite. Comes in either, Mark II. I get it. Comes in either Cherry MX Red or Cherry MX Silent editions, with Red offering smooth and linear actuation, while the Silent dampens sound by 30%. Perfect for users who are streaming, or who work in an office, or who game late at night, like next to someone who is sleeping. They've both got 100% anti-ghosting with 104 key rollover to ensure that no matter how many limbs you use to mash on your keyboard, all of your keystrokes will be fully registered, and 8 megs of built-in storage to allow you to take all of your macro and, more importantly, RGB configurations with you on the go. The top of the keyboard is a built-in USB pass-through that allows an available port from your PC to be passed through to your mouse, smartphone, flash drive, or whatever. And you can check it out at the link below to learn more, which I don't know what the link is. Oh boy, it's genie.us/small I, small h, big J, small a, big B. So that was elegant. Or Luke is going to paste it in the Twitch chat in a minute here.
Yeah. I'm like, that's not going to work at all.
Wait, what did he say? No, crap.
There you go. It's linked.
There we go, fantastic. All right, do you want to do another topic?
Floatplane?
All right, we haven't done one yet. No, let's do it. Let's do a topic. Oh, wait, no, Scrapyard Wars is on Floatplane.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of Scrapyard Wars, you're going to want to go over to floatplane.com, sign up for a subscription. It's got episode 2 already. And then it's going to get episode 3 on Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's going to be good stuff. You're going to want to check that out.
Have you been watching?
I actually am not caught up right now. I know.
Neither am I.
I know.
I'm halfway through the second episode.
So I've been traveling, and the waifu and I want to get the popcorn and watch it together. So
between the craziness that has been going on in terms of work stuff at Floatplane lately, because there's fun things happening, and wedding this weekend, it's been wow.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I will watch it.
Aren't you the best man and stuff?
I am. And I have a giant sword. It's awesome. Actual though, it's made out of steel and stuff.
For what? Is it a spoiler if you tell me, or?
It's a little bit, but I doubt anyone that's gonna. There's okay, so my parents already understand it, and the only other person that I know of that's gonna be there that's going to watch this already knows the whole thing. So best man is a bit of a truncation. It used to be best swordsman.
Really?
And the idea was that the best swordsman wasn't your best friend. It was the best person in your circle of people at utilizing a sword. And it was for very practical reasons, because back then you used to more or less steal your wife. Or someone might object to you marrying that person because it might be in a form of trade.
I object, and then
swing, let's go. And it would be your best man as your champion, basically. Your best swordsman would be championing for you.
Wow.
Yeah. And back in the day, you know how there's the ceremony and then there's a reception? There's actually quite a bit to it, but you know how there's the ceremony and then the reception? This is just kind of a funny part. During the reception, the bride and the groom would go off to consummate the marriage, and they would come back, and then everyone would have dinner. It's not really how that works anymore.
I mean, you could probably pull it off. Technically, a lot of people go off to do a photo shoot. That photo shoot could be very naked.
It could. It definitely could.
Yep.
It's just not generally done anymore.
Yeah.
But at that time, the best man doesn't hang out with the other people. The best man goes with the bride and groom, but not into the room. He stands guard outside the door.
Because you don't have to do that,
theoretically,
do you?
No.
That's good.
No. The whole thing is more there as
a
joke. Yes, it would be. But yeah, you stand guard outside the door because until they've completed the consummation, the marriage isn't final. So someone might try to come and steal the bride before that happens. So you have to stand outside the door and guard them. There's a lot more to it. If you want to go down a really weird path, a very funny path of history, you can look it up. But I'm bringing a sword kind of as a joke. It's not a super serious thing. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you for that. That was both disturbing and enlightening. I appreciate it. All right. So let's do a tech topic then. CJ09 Bira posted this on the forum. The original article is from overclock3d.net, but it looks like Intel may have delayed 10 nanometer Ice Lake until 2020. Wow, dang! I think it's 2020 for server, and I thought it was 2019 for consumer. Something along those lines. Here, yeah, we can have a look at this here. So
someone in the chat said swords are heavy, Luke. Yeah, it's also if it's on the ground, it goes up to here on me.
Really?
It's Anduril. It's the reforged sword. It's Aragorn's blade from Lord of the Rings.
Of course it is.
Heck yeah. And it's full steel tang throughout the entire thing. It's not you could sharpen it and it would be very, very real. It's not sharp though.
Okay.
It's freaking sweet. Anyways.
So, We're not getting Ice Lake whatever. We're not getting Ice Lake until sometime in 2020, I guess is the point. So Intel has already acknowledged that they're going to lose some server market share to AMD and their EPYC architecture, or their EPYC processors based on their Zen architecture. But this is looking pretty bad. This gives AMD like looks like over 2 years to steal market share from Intel. And in the server space, if AMD had a performance or a cost advantage or even a significant technological advantage for, let's say, 6 months or even 18 months, Intel probably wouldn't care. Because what a lot of consumers don't realize is that the lead times on this kind of technology, these kinds of products, and the development process is very long. So if Intel had a product that they were shipping, let's say today, right now, mid-2018, that was serving the needs of their customers reasonably well, and AMD launched some kind of disruptive technology today, Intel is already working on, they wouldn't have a roadmap for these processors if they weren't doing work on them. So they're already working on the tech that they're planning to launch in 2020.
Yeah.
Now, if AMD's compelling performance advantage got IT departments or sysadmins or supercomputer architects, got them looking at it, and Intel could say, hold on, we're working on something. By 2020, we'll be ready. Here, we'll get you some stuff early so that you can make sure that, you're not delaying your project too much.
Specs, so you know how much heat you're going to have to deal with.
You can build out all that other stuff, buy the CPUs at the last minute. We'll have volume ramped up by that time. Something like 18 months for a project like that wouldn't be an unreasonable amount of time to ask someone to wait. The problem is that AMD launched Zen, a year ago?
It's been a while.
AMD launched Zen, I think it was about a year ago. So now AMD is in a position where they have a compelling offering, not just for a short period of time, but for a long enough period of time that the managers or the procurement officers or whoever's working on sourcing
slightly over a year ago
for their server hardware has had a while to look at it, see some smaller deployments go out in the field, and start to build out a new large project around it. And then now that Intel's announcing, remember we're a year into this, that there are going to be delays, well, now they're starting to look, unreliable, whereas AMD has been hitting their targets. Yeah. Now, to be clear, EPYC's not perfect. It does have some issues. Virtualization on AMD's Zen architecture was a big problem, especially right at the beginning, but Intel has its issues too, and those are the kinds of things that on a project-by-project basis, depending on what you're doing with the systems, might make you lean towards one or the other. The big thing here is that AMD looks like a legitimate option and looks like they've got enough of a roadmap that you might want to start planning long-term around them. So that is really bad news, because while Intel might be pretty happy to collect, $329.99 US from consumers for a Core i7, they would much rather take $3299.99 from businesses for large orders of many Xeons shipped on pallets for large deployments. That's better business. So even though it's smaller in terms of per unit sales, it is much larger in terms of the profitability, because the difference in cost between consumer silicon and commercial silicon is not as high as you might think. Interesting. Dun, dun, dun. In other news, this was posted by SC2 Mitch on the forum, and the original article here is actually from AMD themselves. Bam! Intel news release. AMD reports second quarter 2018 financial results. Revenue increased 53% year over year, and gross margin expanded to 37%. That means AMD is actually selling products profitably. We actually, I don't know if we know how much of this was buoyed up by the mining craze that has really slowed down significantly now.
Yeah, so Their net income for this reported quarter was $116 million. The prior quarter was $81 million. Both of those are really, really, really great compared to where they were at a year ago, which is where they had a net loss of $42 million. So if you consider the fact that they were negative 42 before, they're like
116.
They're
now.
almost, they're almost at over 150 million more than they would have been. You know what I mean? Like it's actually quite impressive.
So Dr. Sue released a statement. We had an outstanding second quarter, strong revenue growth, margin expansion, and our highest quarterly net income in 7 years. That's like CEO speak for. We made something people wanted to buy. Oh, yes, we didn't have to slash pricing to get people to buy it. This is great. Most importantly, we believe our long-term technology bets position us very well in the future. We are confident that with the continued execution of our product roadmaps, we are on an excellent trajectory to drive market share gains and profitable growth. So if AMD manages to make their fabless strategy successful, Intel, Samsung... I'm trying to think of who else will actually be left who does both chip intellectual property and actual manufacturing.
I thought you were just trying to list fabs, and I was like, there's quite a few of those.
No, versus focusing on fabs like a Global Foundries or a TSMC,
yeah.
or focusing entirely on IP like someone like ARM. ARM doesn't build their own processors, but of course they are doing super duper well in the mobile age of low power devices, thanks to licensing their designs to other brands like Qualcomm, for example, to produce processors at an actual fab. So Qualcomm doesn't actually fabricate anything either. NVIDIA doesn't fabricate anything. You've got some of the world's most successful semiconductor companies that don't actually manufacture semiconductors.
Yeah. Does Micron still make SSDs?
So Micron is in a partnership with Intel, and they do NAND flash, but I don't believe Micron would actually produce the CPUs. So that's sort of different. I would say DRAM and NAND flash manufacturing are kind of separate from IC manufacturing.
Yeah.
Just because, and I'm just basing that on that I don't think there's anyone other than Intel that actually does both. No, Samsung as well. So Intel and Samsung are in both games, but as far as I know, they're the only ones that are left in both.
Crazy. That's actually quite different compared to like 10 years ago.
NVIDIA's next-gen card details. So this was posted by Atlas Wraith on the forum, and sources, of course, WCCF Tech. So yes, it's a rumor. But they're saying it's an exclusive rumor.
Oh, man.
They've got one of the Star Wars Edition cards, that looks like. Is that the... Yeah, one of the Star Wars Edition cards. They're just using that as a placeholder. That is not probably what the card will look like.
Is that why you were questioning if it was Star Wars or not?
Oh, I just... no, I was looking at... I was looking at this here, and I couldn't remember if that was what it looked like. But then I saw the... The kind of looks like Rebel Alliance, but technically it's the whatever...
Jedi.
The Jedi Order or something. That was so stupid, that whole thing. Galactic Empire and then Jedi Order, even though they never... I did like a whole thing. I pulled people into the boardroom and I got like a slide up and I was yelling about it. It was kind of a bit for a video. But it was something that the inspiration for it came from. So I get up and I'm like, okay, so here's the timeline, all right? Here's where the Jedi Order exists. Here's where the Galactic Empire exists. And we've got about a sliver of overlap where you could arguably say that they both existed, but they're never in direct conflict with each other. None of this makes any sense. Why are these the two teams? Who even knows what the Jedi Order is from a mainstream standpoint? Who knows what this is? So I kind of go off about it. And the inspiration was that I was working on a script with someone about something.
Okay.
And I went off into a tangent about this. And they're like, this is hilarious. We should just work this into the video.
It's all EU now, Linus.
So a month ago, the writer here, Usman Prezada, and there's another co-writer, Hassan Mujtaba. I did my best. Talked about how AIBs would be seated with NVIDIA's next generation graphics cards, probably based on the Turing architecture sometime in late August. Blah, 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 blah. Let's not try and read the article. Let's look at our notes provided by James instead. The naming
also,
conventions.
one random, Star Wars thing. They're relaunching the Clone Wars animated series. And
We talked about it last week, and I said on the show, I was like, Luke's going to be so disappointed that he's not here. And so disappointed that they're just like wrapping it up as a fan service thing.
Yep.
Wrecked.
So
Wrecked.
not only are they just wrapping it up, but I am both excited and scared as freaking heck. Because I have not enjoyed the new Star Wars stuff under Disney. So like, oh geez. And then none of that was Disney. They axed Clone Wars immediately when they bought it. They axed it partway through a season. Like you can actually find you can get the lost episodes. I'm not going to talk about this for too long, I swear. You can get the lost episodes, which is like a few of the completed ones from that season. And then you can also find the art and some of the scripts for the episodes that they like didn't really properly do at all. You can find like unanimated scenes and stuff.
And like if I was the Clone Wars team and Disney came to me and was like, yeah, so we want to like close it out, but like here's how we're doing it. What are the odds that, assuming that you have found work elsewhere, because it's been a while now, it's been a couple years now, so assuming you found work elsewhere, what are the odds that you just drop what you're doing and you come back, yes, Disney, I will come in and I will do it your way. Like I gotta imagine that it's going to be a slightly different team working on this.
Okay, so I don't know this. This is an assumption that I have no source for this. I'm extremely unsure. This is beyond rumor. But I think the Clone Wars team moved on to Rebels.
Okay.
And then the reason why Rebels feels so different is because Rebels has a lower target audience. Not because it's necessarily a different team. But I could be completely wrong about that. So aggressively don't quote me on that. But I think they might have at least the core people still around.
All right, so here's what's going on with NVIDIA's new lineup. Wow. This could actually be very bad news. So they haven't decided on the naming, which might not seem like it matters that much because ultimately who cares? It's about FPS. But as a general rule, it's not a terrible idea when you create a product to have the name kind of make sense.
Yeah.
And with a graphics card, really the main thing that we expect a name to tell us is where does its performance fall in relation to other cards? So apparently they are actively considering suffixes like XXX5. For example, GTX 1175.
Yeah.
Or GTX 2070 or 2075. Now, that alone doesn't sound like that big of a deal unless the kinds of suffixes they're considering are like 10 something 5, where it's possible that we might get GPUs that don't actually perform that dramatically different from this gen. Now, I don't think they would do that.
Oh,
but like they've done that sort of thing before. Like the 275 launched way after the 260 and the 280.
Yeah.
But that was similar architecturally. I don't see them launching a new architecture without giving it a clear new series. But if they used numbers that kind of seemed like it positioned them between older cards, I don't know if it would surprise me that much either, because you got to remember, if NVIDIA holds true to the pattern that has been true since the GTX 680, we are not getting big tiering at the initial launch. We are getting mid-sized tiering. So a GTX 1080 Ti is a very different card from a 1080. They are more different than a 1080 and a 1070 are. That's the way it works now. 1080 Ti is a big chip, and 1080 and 1070 are both step down mid-sized chips. So we are getting the new generation mid chip, which I don't know, may or may not actually perform any better than last gen big chip.
We're gonna actually make a compensator.
I don't know
if we get a new big chip, because we kind of skipped 3. Sort of,
didn't we?
Sort of.
I think so.
There wasn't usually there's like a very opportune moment.
Well, there's no 4-way SLI anymore.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help.
Yeah. Well, like, isn't there for specifically benchmarking reasons? I always hate it when people do that, though.
Maybe, but it's really dumb.
It's stupid.
So
it's not as cool.
Apparently, it will initially have 3 power brackets. 120 watt, 150 watt, and 180 watt. And what's interesting about that is NVIDIA has, over the last several years anyway, gone with a staggered rollout for their new lineup. Oh, that piece was a little spicier. Oh, I'm fine.
The sweet sriracha?
So they've gone with a very staggered rollout. So they've gone like, okay, here's the high end. Then they're like, wait a couple months. Okay, here's the next one. Wait a couple months. Here's the next one. That allows them to kind of stretch out their PR coverage. Keeps people from kind of getting bored of like this wave of GPU news.
Gives us more stuff to talk about.
And then nothing for 2 years, you know?
Yeah.
But what this sounds like is that at 120, 150, 180 watt, they might be doing a broader refresh. And the reason for doing that might be that AMD is actually relatively competitive at the 120 watt TDP range. So they might want to just go, you know what, forget it. Let's just go bwomp and make life very, very difficult for our one competitor in the space all in one go. Very interesting. It is rumored that 1080 Ti MSRP will drop by $100 and 1080 MSRP will drop by $50. This is also a solid indication that the upcoming 1180 and 1170, I'm just using those as placeholders, don't really perform that amazingly differently than the ones that they are replacing.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But potential price drops on 1080 Ti and 1080.
Yeah, that's never a bad thing.
Which happens pretty much every time. It is never a bad thing.
We actually filmed our MacBook Pro 2018 video today. So there's going to be more detail about this and that. But it looks like the throttling for the MacBook Pro has been fixed in macOS. So it came as an update to High Sierra 10.13.6. And they have issued an apology to consumers who experienced less than optimal performance on their new 2018 machines. Now, they said that this was a firmware patch.
A missing digital key.
Issued with this update, but Anthony's testing shows no performance change in Windows after downloading and installing this, so it seems like it didn't actually make any changes to firmware, and we'll talk in a little bit more detail about that in our MacBook Pro video. Oh, Facebook! Facebook stock crashed harder than any stock has ever crashed before. This is posted by SC2 Mitch on the forum. They were apparently sued today over a disappointing earnings announcement. Okay, I didn't know about that.
Wow.
But it resulted in the loss of $120 billion of shareholder wealth, making it the biggest one-day loss in U.S. market history.
Apparently Zuckerberg went down like 2 spots on the world's richest list or something.
Really?
Yeah. Have you heard of... Okay, this is... I do not recommend going there. I would never recommend going there. And it takes a bit of willingness to read terrible, horrible things to be able to go there. But there is a subreddit called Wall Street Bets. And it's based around... Like, all stock investments is essentially betting, right? But this is based around, like, hardcore betting. And their idea isn't like, I'm going to invest so I can have a good life leading forward. Their idea is like, I'm going to YOLO so that hopefully I either get a yacht or nothing. And like some dude is 20 and made like $500,000 off shorting Facebook. And he posted about it there. There's also a dude who had I think it was a $55,000 portfolio and it went down to 1.2 grand because of this. It's a really interesting read right now. Just fair warning, it gets pretty brutal in the comments and stuff. So just if you have a weak stomach for people being vicious, don't go there. But It's really interesting seeing people who bet super hard on stocks and then something like this happens and just seeing what happens. People losing their entire savings, people being completely set up for the entire rest of their life. Just like it's every single thread is like, whoa.
So it's like a live stream of the high roller, roulette table.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's crazy. It's a very crazy,
Here's a rumor. This was posted by Aluminium Tech on the forum, and the original source is 9to5 Google. Fortnite is coming to Android, but it is rumored that it will be a Samsung Galaxy Note 9 exclusive.
What?
At first.
They must have paid so much for that.
So apparently it's going to be, the Note 9, which is set to be announced on the 9th of August, with pre-orders on August 14th and public availability on August 24th, looks like it's going to have Fortnite exclusively for a month. And there was a thread about this on the forum where people are like, oh, what are they, are they stupid? They think people are going to buy a phone just over a game? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like people are criticizing Samsung. Okay, you can criticize Samsung all you want, but they're saying that Samsung is stupid for doing this.
No.
And depending how much they paid, which I don't know, depending how much they paid, this might be actually brilliant.
It's not inherently stupid. It could be stupid.
It could be stupid.
Yeah.
Like if they paid way too much money, maybe it's stupid. But remember, this is a company that buys Super Bowl ads. So, if they paid $100 million, this is a far better promotion than a Super Bowl ad, if you want my honest opinion.
And you were just talking about, like, it might actually influence their decisions. Think about if you're on a contract, how subsidized your phone is. It's just a bit of money, right? So it's probably like $150 decision, but they're all going to be about $150 or $0. You pick this phone, you get Fortnite, and you get the decision between wireless AKG headphones, which sweet. Yeah, you should probably go with that unless you're a crazy Fortnite fan. The other option is $100 to $100 worth of V-Bucks in game.
100 to 150.
Yeah, sorry.
And the other thing you got to remember is that Fortnite has an enormous fan base. So you've got friends that work at like mobile gaming companies, right?
Yes.
What do you remember talking? I know you've talked to them about it, but do you remember what they said was the percentage of the users that are your whales?
Oh, I don't remember the exact number, but it is very, very small.
So when you've got
less than 1%.
So when you've got hundreds of millions of users, though, and you've got these whales that might spend hundreds of dollars a month on the game, to imagine that they might run out and buy a phone so that they can play the game that month.
Oh, that's no question.
Remember, they get a phone.
Yeah.
I mean, usually when they spend a couple $100 on this game, they don't even get a phone. Hey, I got a phone. Cool. Like that is a no-brainer for the kind of people that are spending lots and lots of money on digital content for games like Fortnite. So, they're going to sell some phones. Don't kid yourself. Okay, last topic for today. Apple will fix devices damaged by Japanese floods for free. Apple is buying themselves some free positive publicity, and hey, that's a good thing.
One quick thing I'm going to step in here with. You just mentioned the tiny percentage of your users are the whales. There's a really amazing story. Kevin Lee Ko, a 45-year-old man from Rockland, California, pled guilty to charges of wire fraud and money laundering, having been caught stealing $4.8 million from his employer between 2008 and 2015, $1 million of which he spent on Game of War, the mobile game. One thing that blows my mind about this is imagine literally how many times you would have had to click to buy something to spend $1 million. Like it literally would have been tiresome to spend that much money on in-game currency.
I'm surprised he didn't manage to lose his job, given how much time he was clearly spending playing Game of War.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, no, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure he lost his job.
Ignoring the money laundering, all that kind of stuff.
Money.
Yeah.
It's like, what was this guy even getting done all day? Clearly nothing.
Yeah.
$1 million on Game of War.
Oh my goodness. So crazy.
All right. So this was posted by Red Round 2 on the forum, and Apple has announced that it will repair any iPhones, Macs, iPods, or iPads. Hey, the iPod owners are getting some love. That's nice. That were directly damaged by the devastating heavy floods that swept through Japan this month.
Oh, that's cool.
The flooding has caused hundreds of deaths, and the support goes against Apple's standard repair policies, which strictly exclude water damage. So almost all of Apple's main product lines are eligible, but accessories are not included, and proof of ownership may be required. That's fantastic. Way to go, Apple.
That's very cool. That's probably going to cost them a lot of money.
Yeah, love to hear that, though. Speaking of things I love to hear that that's it for this week. I'm going to go home.
Oh.
I'm going to enjoy my weekend. We got to play some badminton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not this weekend, but yeah, very soon.
That's fine.
Also, I need to fix my back first and my arm.
What'd you do with your back and your arm? When are you not broken?
My knees are basically fixed.
No, that's not my point.
It was great. My knees are almost fixed. So my lower back, I think it's my chair. I've ordered a new chair.
Okay.
You
were still using that horrible
I don't like spending money.
You told me you were going to order a new chair.
It has been ordered
Literally, shut up. You told me you were going to order a new chair literally before Floatplane was founded.
Yeah.
Before that project was even started.
So that probably was mid 2016.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I ordered it now, though. It's showing up on August 6th. I'm excited.
What'd you get?
I don't want to talk about it.
Is it expensive?
It's very expensive.
Is it Herman Miller?
Yes.
Ooh.
I talked to a whole bunch of ergonomic experts. I talked to, because my,
oh.
there's a history of back problems in my family, too. So I want to like solve it. And that's part of the reason why it took me 2.5 years to order it. It's because I've kind of known the one that I should order for a long time. It's not the main one. It's not the one most people buy.
But this is the chair you'll use for the rest of your life, right?
It has like a 25-year warranty or something. Okay. Like it's supposed to. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a firm believer in buying one nice thing once.
Yeah.
So the number of times that I have not upgraded my wireless router since I spent $1,000 on a Ruckus access point has probably gotten me about a third of the way there so far.
Yeah.
And I plan to continue to use that Ruckus access point for many years because even though there are new wireless standards coming that will be faster, the devices that I'll be able to afford will, if I were to buy something enterprise tier, will be consumer grade, and they're going to have other issues. And quite frankly, so on my Blade Stealth, I was transferring files to my NAS at 46 megabytes a second on my access point at home 2 nights ago. That is good enough for me on Wi-Fi. If I need faster than that, I will plug into a network connection and I will get 10 gig because, YOLO or whatever. So I'm a firm believer. If you're going to use something for long enough that you would have replaced it multiple times with commodity garbage in the time that you'd use it, then I consider that a solid investment. Because you also have to pay yourself for the time that it takes to go and buy a new chair several times, assemble it, go shop for it, figure out that you're missing a stupid bracket, go back to the store and go to the bracket wall and find the right stupid bracket, then take it home. Like there's overhead associated with dealing with buying stuff.
Even the biggest one I would even say is shopping. The downtime.
Oh yeah, downtime's a pain in the butt.
Because if your router goes down, especially for someone like you, like you just did the angry jaw movement and the eye roll. Like that's it's a problem. It could be very, very impactful.
Like I might not be able to get work done, or I might be live streaming at my house or something back in those days anyway.
If my router went down, I would live here until I got a new one, which would be the next morning because I would need one immediately. Like it's
So that's it for WAN Show. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you again next week. We are actually going to be discussing moving WAN Show to YouTube.
Whoa.
Yeah. Maybe we should talk about it on the WAN Show next week. We'll maybe do some pros and cons. We'll talk to the Twitch audience, see what they think.
What about mirrored?
So...
Is that like against everyone's policies?
I think so.
Okay.
Kind of. Yeah. It depends.
All right.
Depends.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.